It's late. The house is quiet. The only sound is the low hum of the refrigerator. But your mind is screaming. You're replaying the scene again. That conversation, that email, the moment you realized what they had done. You can see their face, hear their voice, the words they used, the excuses they made, or maybe the silence they gave you when you deserved an explanation. The betrayal sits like a hot coal in your stomach. It burns when you try to sleep. It's the first thing you feel when you wake up. You trusted them, you let them in, and they used that trust, that vulnerability to injure you. Now, you are left in the wreckage, left to circle the facts again and again, searching for an answer that isn't there. The anger is a poison, and you keep drinking it, hoping they will be the one to die. You feel powerless, robbed not just of what was taken from you, the money, the job, the relationship, but robbed of your peace. Your own mind has become a prison, and the one who wronged you holds the key. What if you could take that key back? There was a man who ruled the known world, the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Imagine the betrayals he faced, the lies whispered in the halls of power, the disloyalty of generals, the ingratitude of the people he served. His days were not spent in a quiet library. They were spent on the battlefield, in the snake pit of the Roman court, surrounded by men who would smile to his face and sharpen a knife behind his back. Every single morning, before he faced that world, he didn't give himself a speech about winning. He didn't fill his head with optimism. He performed a quiet, private ritual, an act of mental armor. He sat down, perhaps as the sun rose over his but military tent, and wrote a note to himself. It begins like this. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He continues saying, they are this way for one simple reason. They cannot tell good from evil. Now stop. Read that again. This isn't pessimism. It is the ultimate form of realism. He is not cursing humanity. He is preparing for it. He is looking at the world without illusion, and in doing so, he is making himself bulletproof. Because the second part of his thought is where the power lies. He recognizes that the person who does wrong has a nature related to his own, not the same blood, but the same mind. They are part of the same human family. And because he has seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, he understands something they don't. And so he concludes, none of them can harm him. No one can implicate him in their ugliness. Think about what that means. The real harm is not what they do to you. The real harm is allowing their actions to corrupt your own character. The harm is letting their ignorance make you hateful, letting their dishonesty make you bitter. Their wrong is their own. Don't make it yours. Let's talk about a man. Let's call him David. For 10 years, David and his business partner, a man he called his brother, built a company from nothing. They started in a garage fueled by cheap pizza and a shared dream. They survived the lean years, They celebrated the first big contract. They promised each other they would do it the right way, with honor. David trusted him completely. He had seen the man's children born. He had been there for the divorce. Their lives were woven together. Then the deal came. The one that would change everything. An offer to buy them out. More money than either of them had ever imagined. And that's when the betrayal happened. Quietly at first. A strange clause in the paperwork, a meeting David wasn't invited to, his partner's evasive answers. Then the floor fell out. His partner had been working behind his back for months, structuring the sale to push David out, to dilute his shares to almost nothing. He used private conversations, moments of shared vulnerability, as leverage against him. The man who he had trusted with his life's work looked him in the eye and lied. The deal closed. His partner walked away, a wealthy man. David walked away with a handful of cash and a gut full of ashes. The loss of the money was brutal, but the loss of the man he thought he knew, that was the wound that wouldn't close. David became a ghost. He would sit in his car, staring at the office building they had built together. He'd scroll through his old partner's social media, watching him on vacation, smiling with his family, living the life they were supposed to share. Each picture was another twist of the knife. He replayed every conversation from the last year, searching for the clue he missed. Every handshake, every promise. He tortured himself with his own blindness. At home, he was a shadow. His wife would try to talk to him, but he was somewhere else, lost in a silent, furious argument with a man who wasn't there. His anger was a constant, low hum that vibrated through his entire life. It soured everything. He was hollowed out, consumed by a fire that only burned him. He was a prisoner of the past, and every day he rattled the bars of his cage, demanding justice from a world that wasn't listening. He was waiting for an apology that would never come, waiting for a karmic punishment that seemed to have lost the address. He believed his peace was somewhere in the future, on the other side of revenge or resolution, and so he waited while his life withered around him. One night, unable to sleep, he was searching online for anything, any wisdom that could make sense of the burning injustice, and he found that line from the old Roman emperor. They are like this because they can't tell good from evil. His first reaction was anger, a rejection. Can't tell good from evil. He knew exactly what he was doing. It was pure evil. But the idea wouldn't let him go. He started to think about his old partner, not as a two-dimensional villain, but as the man he knew. A man driven by a deep, gnawing insecurity. A man terrified of being poor again. A man who measured his worth by the number in his bank account because he had no other measure. He wasn't evil. He was blind. He was so morally blind that he could look at a decade of friendship, of loyalty, of shared struggle, and see less value in it than a few extra percentage points in a buyout. He was so impoverished in character that he would trade his honor for a number on a screen. Thinking this way didn't excuse the action. The action was still a profound betrayal, but it changed its nature. It was no longer a personal attack on David's soul. It was the desperate, clumsy act of a spiritually blind man stumbling in the dark, grabbing at shiny things. And then David understood the second part of Marcus's thought. No one can implicate me in ugliness. He saw it clearly. For months, he had been participating in the ugliness. He had allowed his partner's greed to make him hateful. He had allowed his partner's dishonor to poison his own peace. The betrayal was an event that happened to him. But the bitterness, the rage, the obsession, that was a choice he was making every single day. He was chained to the man who hurt him, and the rage was the chain. He realized the ultimate justice wasn't seeing his partner fail. The ultimate justice was refusing to be destroyed by him. It was to reclaim his own mind, to see his partner's new life not as a victory, but as the gilded cage it truly was, a life purchased at the cost of his own soul. David couldn't change what happened, but he could change what it meant. It was no longer the story of his ruin, it was the story of his liberation. So what do you do with this? Tomorrow morning, I want you to try something. Before you look at your phone, before you let the world rush in with its demands and its noise, find a quiet place, by a window, with a cup of coffee, and perform the emperor's ritual. It's not an affirmation, it is a preparation, a quiet arming of the soul. Say these words, or your own version of them, to yourself. Speak them to the man in the mirror. Today, I will meet people who are selfish and dishonest and ungrateful. Picture them. Don't shy away from it. The person who betrayed you, the boss who dismisses you, the family member who undermines you. See their faces in your mind. Acknowledge the possibility of the hurt, but then deliver the second crucial blow. They will be this way because they are ignorant of what is truly good. They are lost. They are acting out of fear and weakness and confusion. And then, the most important part, the part that sets you free. But I am not lost. I know what is good. I know that courage and justice and temperance are the only true currency. And their nature is not so different from my own. They are human and flawed. And so they cannot truly harm me. They cannot make me something I am not. They cannot implicate me in their ugliness. Do this tomorrow, and the next day, and the day after that. You are not hardening your heart. You are making it untouchable. You are drawing a line, a perimeter, around your own inner citadel. This is what belongs to me. My choices, my responses, my character. Everything else, the actions of others, their opinions, their betrayals, is outside the walls. Let them rage. You will be safe inside. The world will continue to offer you reasons to be angry. People will let you down. That is a promise. But your peace of mind is not a gift the world can give you, so it is not a gift the world can take away. The great wrong that was done to you does not have to be the story of your life. It can simply be the chapter where you discovered your own strength. The chapter where you learn that your freedom is not found in getting even, but in letting go of the poison. You are not what was done to you. You are what you choose to become right now in the aftermath. If this is a path that makes sense to you, a path you want to continue walking, then stay with us on this journey. There is more to learn.